how to use the struggles of the past as a springboard to your successful future. The first thing I want you to know and realize about yourself is that you are already successful. If we can get this discussed tonight and everybody realize that you are already successful, we're taking a huge step forward in the process of the journey that we're about to embark on. You have to remember that when you first came into the world, you came into the world knowing nothing, and you've already overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles to where you got today. You need to think back of early childhood, and it's probably very hard to actually think back that far. But just imagine what it's like being born into this world and being totally helpless. You were helpless. And when you came into the world, you had no friends. Your thinking was not developed. You could barely see. And you were totally dependent on others for your survival. Now imagine what that would feel like now that you're an adult. If you just totally landed someplace and you had no friends, you had no resources, you could barely see, you couldn't think clearly. How would you go about surviving? But the amazing thing is, you've already gone through this process. You are already successful. Now, how'd you go about doing this? Well, you gathered clues along the way that taught you what you needed to know. Now, that's an important concept there, that success leaves clues. If you write that down in the margin, success leaves clues. And you gathered those clues along the way, and they taught you what you needed to know. Another important thing that you learned was that you developed relationships by giving others what they wanted from you. You developed relationships by giving others what they wanted from you. In other words, you set aside your wants and learned to find out what the wants of others were and responded to them. And that way you could develop the relationships. In other words, it wasn't all about you. It wasn't just me, 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 me. You eventually learned that if you wanted to have a relationship, that you had to care about what other people wanted. You learned new things first by watching and listening, then by doing it with the help from others, and then doing it yourself. Now, there's a lot of important things there. First, we learn by watching and listening. We take information in. We see other people doing it. And then when we first start doing it, we do it with the help of others. In other words, we take a step forward. If we never take a step forward and actually do it, we'll always be on the sidelines just watching and listening. So we actually did it. We did it with the help of others. And then we became successful like that. And then the next step was, then we did it by ourselves. And we became masters of whatever that task was. You tried different things to see if they got you the results you wanted. If they did, you repeated them. If what you tried didn't work, you tried something else. Now, this is the beauty of what you see in a child, especially in the ages in 3 and 4, you can see this. Whether it's your kids or somebody else's kids, watch children that age and see how they learn. They test things. They try things. If something doesn't work, they notice it. They try something else. And that's how they progress. And that's how you progressed during your early years. You learned by experimenting the law of cause and effect. That's one of these universal laws that's been put in place for you to use. And the great thing about your learning experience, you becoming successful, is that you did learn that there's a law of cause and effect. If something happens, there's going to be a result. And if you can spot those relationships, then you can depend on the law of cause and effect working for you in that particular situation. You learn how to understand people by watching their reactions to situations. Okay? People work on cause and effect too, don't they? You learn how to understand people by watching their reactions to situations. And you learn to be likable by discovering what others liked in you. You discovered the traits that you have that were attractive to other people, and that way you knew that those are the traits that you should show to other people so that you could be likable and attract them as friends.